Just a quick disclaimer, anything said in this boarding mockumentary cannot be used against the participants or the boarding people. We'll be asking our bruriah boarding students some intriguing questions. You're gonna get a closer look on exactly what it's really like to board.
I think bad food.
What word comes to mind when you think about boarding, and why?
Laundry baskets, because the one thing that made me feel at home in Israel, well, part of my family was my laundry basket, and I didn't have one in this country. And I didn't know about my laundry, and it was devastating.
Black borscht pops into your mind when you think boarding. School. And it is quite good news when our boarding people aren't there, because then we go to the kitchen. We don't rob them, but we look and see what they have. This is how we found their secret stash of ragaloth, which are really yummy.
Oh, what have I done when my boarding people are not home? I've tried on their clothes, I've tried on their wigs, I've raided their fridge, I've looked in their shower. You know, I don't think I should say anything else.
Well, I went through the house and turned on all the lights, so it wasn't that scary.
Best boarding dinner.
Chinese! Leftovers from Shabbos.
Eggs.
Salad and chicken and soup.
They don't feed me.
So, once I took a plastic thermos and I thought you could microwave it, and I put it in the microwave for a very long time. I was trying to make hot water for myself. I was sick. The thermos blew up, melted in it. The fire alarms went off. I had to take the thermos out, wrap it in toilet paper. I didn't know what to do with it. I threw it in a dumpster outside. The entire house smelled of smoke. I took a little tiny note right on it. Don't worry, I didn't set your house on fire. Go to school.
So one night, it was like 12:30, and there's an intercom that goes through our whole entire house. And basically my intercom was on, and their intercom was on, and basically we heard conversations, myself and I, that I probably should not have heard.
Okay, so I was really, really hungry, and I went into the kitchen, and there wasn't really anything to eat, except there was a pot of chicken soup on the stove. And I figured, hey, I love chicken soup. So I turned on the flame, whatever, heat it up, take a bowl, sit down, give a bite, and it tasted like something you wouldn't want to taste. So then afterwards I found out it had been sitting, because this was Sunday afternoon, it had been sitting there since Friday night.
My friend Sandy, she once came over and they didn't know, so I hid her in the bathroom the whole night.
So you hid another boarder in your room? Did I get this straight?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so my friend was over one Motzei Shabbos and they didn't know, and they all went to bed and set the alarm, and I didn't know how to unset the alarm. So when I went up to walk her out at like midnight, basically she was locked in, so she slept over. What's the weirdest thing you hide from your boarding people?
Tissue boxes. That's it. And what do you hide from your boarding people?
A microwave.
So do you actually like open their fridge and take food? You go to your fridge and you take out their food?
So you go to their fridge and you open it and like take out an apple? Name your boarding people's first names. Kids' names.
Aryeh and Josh.
Kids' ages.
4 and 6 months.
2 out of 3, not bad.
Do the strong family have 3? Do you know the ages of those kids?
Boarding people's first names.
Benjamin and Mulkey.
Boarding kids' names.
Josh and Aryeh.
Ages.
4 and 2.
Nice.
Portland. I miss those trees.
My family.
My family.
My family. Fish.
Toilet paper.
Good cheese. In my house, there's always good cheese.
What's the farthest you've gone to get a ride?
So I had to ask a boarder who lived across the street to be able to give me a ride. So the boarder gave another boarder a ride, and that's how we got to our travel destination.
Just this past
Saturday night, I needed to get from Teaneck to Elizabeth. This is actually a half-hour ride, but that's too simple. So nobody lives in Elizabeth except for boarders. So I got a ride to Englewood, where I there played with my friend's nieces and nephews for an hour while waiting for a ride from Englewood to my friend's house in Elizabeth. And once in Elizabeth, I got a ride to my boarding house. This took me like 2.5 hours. When somebody, some kind soul, could have just gotten in the car and driven me straight to Elizabeth in 30 minutes.
Okay, so once I was in Lakewood for Shabbos, and then I had to go to Borough Park, and then from Borough Park I got a ride to Muncie, and then from Muncie the next day I got a ride to Passaic.
Sometimes I wait and ask every single one that comes to the door.
Like one night, and I was throwing my food and stuff, so they locked me in the basement for 2 days without anything.
So I'm at mother-daughter at my solo, and a girl looks at me right before I go up and she goes, "Don't you wish your mother was here?"
Oh.
Yeah, I do wish my mother was here.
People always ask these obnoxious questions like, don't you wish you were going home for winter break? Yeah, I wish I was going home for winter break. Do you think I want to stay in America for winter break? No.
Where do you live?
You know what? School's over. It's time to go home. I want to go back to my boarding house just like everyone else wants to go home. But you know what? I have to find a ride because it's pitch black outside and I'm not going to walk because I'll get mugged. So what do? I stand outside asking random people if they want me home. You hear that? I jump into random people's car. I do not know them. I do not know their name. I get in their car and I go back to my boarding house.
Is this hard for you? Do you mind being away from your family? I say yes. Good question. You're so sensitive to point that out to me.
And what makes it all worth it?
I'll wake up at 8:20.